go about using these, right? So the way that I fought with a round shield and a sword a lot is like this. Very defensive, reactionary position to fight with your shield on, right? So what I'm giving up in range here, I'm making up for in my visual defense of being able to work around, right? So from here, just throw a shot over this way, right? Blocked, cut. From this stance, you're very reactionary. When you get good at it, when you start reading your opponent's footwork to go, okay, he's coming in now, something's coming, right? Then you can have a couple of avenues that you cut down from here, so go up into a guard, right? So step forward and throw a high shot over here, right? I know that arm's going to be out there, so it's not like you go up in a guard. So he's got his hand nicely protected there, flat guard. If I'm just striking at that hand, right, I got to hit those fingers. And most of the fighters know that just a little jiggity jog, right? So I'm going to try and hit that hand, you try and just jiggle it out of the way. Don't swat at it, just go like this, right? It's very easy to defend your hand, right? Because I'm trying to hit one singular spot in space, and when I miss, he knows my arm is out here, right? Just like when I see that leg come up and you throw a shot up here, right? From here, I know that I just need to cut down this line. His shield and everything's going to be out of the way. Arm's going to be fully extended, and I got it, right? Same thing when you're in a defensive. When I'm in like this, do you know what a wrap is? Do you know what a wrap is? Steph, grab those weapons, grab that shield. It's the same idea from here. If my opponent comes in and throws a wrap at me, I've blocked here, right? So I've got much fight. He's going low, but if he's going for my body, right? From here now, I'm loaded, right? I've gone into an awkward defensive stance. He's thrown his shot. He's in that split second where your weapon stalls, and I know that I just need to cut here, right? I don't have to aim at anything. I just have to get my weapon. Okay, go ahead. Blocked, right? Over here. Doesn't matter how you do it because your opponent's arm, so block. Your opponent's arm is like that, right? So all you got to do is just drop your weapon on it. So from here, you can be very reactionary, but you're sacrificing a little bit of the control that you have of the center, right? So against another shield, I like to fight a little bit more like this. But I'll also switch that to fighting like this to take control of the center without really endangering myself. So instead of sort of sacrificing that middle space, now I'm in that middle space, right? So I'm trying to take control with this. Now against another shield, my shield becomes the offensive weapon and my sword becomes the exploiter, right? So close up your guard. So if I'm in here like this, I pin and I drop. Simple shots. Everything that you throw off of this is your shield having already done something, right? Boom. So from here, pin, drop the shot in. What else can we do from here? You can actually do a funny close-up on your opponent where you cross over. So you don't usually cross over with a shield and end up this way, but you can if you're out here like this, right? I'm not sure I'll even be able to do this. But I close up and I throw my shot over here. You can end up rotated more like this too. I don't typically get that because I'm not good enough at it yet. But you can, from here, end up cutting over on the other side of your shield. What else we got? This one. Grab a two-hander, or just come in with your two-hander if you're pulling. So one of the tough parts about fighting a two-handed weapon with a sword and shield is that typically they have a little bit more reach on you. Colin has a shorter two-handed sword. So if I'm like this, right, I'm giving up some of the terrain where he can come out and be striking at me, right? So if I switch to this stance against a two-handed sword, right? So just close in slow, right? One of his weak spots is the center line, and I have my shield out here too, right? So close, right? I'm fairly protected by my shield, and I'm able to throw center line pokes at him. So what you'll find is just slowly close on me. So I'm in this, you're thinking you're going to come in and throw a shot, right? As soon as a two-hander goes offensive against you, you've got a really nice opportunity to just go right on their center line, because their center line, unless they've done something with their footwork to adjust off, their center line's going to be coming right at you, so you don't really have to do much other than just get your weapon out there, right? And if they close to the left or the right of you, then that's a different fight. So, right? Close is over. Just go defensive. Continue from there. Right? So as soon as he comes back online, you just poke straight up the middle. Two weapons, come up please. Thanks, Mom. So same thing when you're fighting two weapons. If I go into this guard versus two weapons, close up, she can do a lot of work, right? As soon as I throw one, she's on it, and her other one's coming at me, right? So against two weapons, which is even more open on the center line than the two-handed sword, if you switch out of this stance to this stance, right? Now your opponent has to be a lot more wary of where that's coming, because a little slide, your sword's protected from them being able to poke and bang around that, right? So close up, right? Straight up the middle. So that's some tips for the newer shield fighters for how to change your stance up from the sort of traditional, anachronistic, recreation sort of typical stance to a more active sort of advanced style where you're going to have control of using both arms and feeling a lot of energy on the edge of that shield. Good luck.